is ANN News Brief.
Good afternoon, I'm Lucy Adeyemi. Chad's army said on Thursday it had killed 1,000 Boko Haram fighters and lost 52 of its own soldiers in a 10-day operation following the insurgents' deadliest ever attack on national forces. Chad's army launched the operation 11 days ago after jihadist groups killed nearly 100 Chadian soldiers in an ambush a few days earlier. It has been battling the Nigerian jihadist group in the remote western Lake Chad zone for years. Spokesman Azem Bemadua said in a statement the Chadian army had occupied 2 Boko Haram island bases and had also deployed on the Lake Chad banks of Niger and Nigeria. He said the operation was complete and that nearly 200 Chadian soldiers had been wounded. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has extended a lockdown in the country for another 2 weeks to stem the spread of the coronavirus. Ramaphosa said on Thursday ending the lockdown too soon would risk a massive and uncontrollable resurgence of the virus. South Africa has recorded 1,934 confirmed coronavirus cases, the highest on the continent. The government has embarked on a mass testing drive. Ramaphosa said the lockdown was helping slow the rate of new infections and that the restrictions had been largely observed. Coronavirus is presently in 52 African countries with more than 12,000 cases and 632 deaths recorded. More than 1,600 have recovered. Globally, more than 1.5 million persons have been infected with COVID-19. Nearly 90,000 of them have died.
We are on the road every day, canvassing throughout Africa for news you really need. We follow the story everywhere, from every corner of Nigeria to the wide African expanse. We bring you what's making headlines. We connect you with news you can use. ANN, African News Network, in a truly African spirit.
A draft of a U.S. government-sponsored report shows child labor is still prevalent in some parts of Africa. The report says the use of child labor on cocoa farms in top-producing countries of Ivory Coast and Ghana has risen over the past decade despite industry promises to reduce it. More than 2 million children are reported to have worked in the sector last season in the West African countries that produce about 2/3 of the world's cocoa. The report says this shows the level of child labor is higher than in 2010 when companies including Mars, Hershey, Nestle and Cargill pledged to reduce by 70% in 2020 the worst forms of child labor in their West African supply chains. Those figures are more than 10% higher than when the first survey was conducted during the 2008-2009 season and revealed the difficulty of eradicating child labor from the industry, a growing sector that provides much needed livelihoods for thousands of poor communities. The report by the U.S. Department of Labor is expected to be published later this month. That is ANN News Brief at 1. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I'm Lucy Adeyemi.